As many of you know, we made a choice back in November to stop meeting together. And what I'm about to say, I want you to know, is very important. It is not my opinion. We as an elder board and with Matt have met many, many times in Zoom meetings and had many discussions over the past couple of weeks that have kind of all been put together into what I'm going to share with you. And remember, one of the distinctions about us as a church is we have to be unanimous as elders in major decisions that we make. We're not comfortable having two in favor, one against, because we believe if God's going to communicate with us, we should all be of the same mindset. So that's one of the things that we practice. And we seek input from a variety of people outside of it, but only the elders get to vote on what we're going to do. So this last week, I spent a lot of time with the help, and then yesterday, we kind of looked at the 34th draft and were able to come up with something that we want to share with you today. So if you remember, in mid-November, the coronavirus in Ada County was really surging. Right around Thanksgiving, it got up to 102. And that number that they were sharing is the number that we really pay the most attention to. It's the 7-day average incidence rate number for Ada County, and it's measured in number per 100,000 people. And we look at that number. We don't look at the positivity rate because that's only given for the whole state, and it's not a reflection of what's actually going on where we meet in Ada County. So that number was just skyrocketing, and at the time the governor came forward and said, you know, I don't want to mandate things, but we're getting close to that. But one of the things that he asked would be that the churches, and I got to say, in Idaho, we've had a lot more leeway and a lot more support for churches to stay open than in probably any other state in the nation. But the governor asked that we would begin to live stream so that we could cut down on the surge. We believe that it's our goal, well, not our goal, it's our responsibility to submit to authorities, even if we don't agree, unless we're being asked to do something immoral, unethical, or that just is plain stupid. So that's where we trust God and our elected officials. So we chose to honor what he was asking, and we thought it would be for a short amount of time till we could see what happened after the holidays. Right alongside with that, we had a lot of health workers who were feeling unsupported and hospitals that were being overwhelmed. And as they went out in the community, they saw people not wearing masks and they knew churches were meeting. So the second reason we felt like it was good to take a little break and continue to be the church but not meet together was to not be bad representations of Christ, to not in any way discredit Jesus or Christianity to those in the world who are seeing us ignoring what the governor's saying and feeling like we don't care about their health. So those were the primary reasons after we prayed and labored, and I got to tell you, we did, because I mean, not easy decisions to make here, but we felt that was the right way to go. So currently, as of Friday, we are down under 40 per 100,000. That number only peaked a little bit after Christmas. This is the 10th, so if we see any peaking, it seems like that would be very small, maybe even smaller than Christmas. So we're comfortable opening up again. So next Sunday, the 17th, things will be open for anyone to come who feels safe. And that's what I'll get into next. So one of the main points of disagreement and unfortunately division in our country and even in our church has been this ongoing debate about masks. And who would have thought that? To mask or not to mask? That is the question. And that's also a huge point of contention for many. So through the pandemic, there really seems to be three major mindsets regarding masks. And I know that there are probably far right, far left, those that fit in between. We're trying to categorize for the sake of communication. But we kind of came up with what we've encountered here at the church, which is three different mindsets. And none of these three views are necessarily 100% right or 100% wrong. They're just different, and they're based on people's individual situations, their beliefs, who they know, their health, There's nothing that works across the board. So with that in mind, remember that one of our main things as a church is that we agree to disagree except on primary doctrine. Jesus is the Son of God. There's a Trinity. Jesus was born of a virgin. Spiritual gifts, God gives them to every believer. Someday we'll be perfect and we'll be in heaven. Primary doctrine, we don't bend on. Secondary doctrine, and this stuff isn't even doctrine, we show grace to. So that being said, there's three camps, or I don't even want to say camps. There's three mindsets that I think we've identified in our church. People who are really concerned, people who are not concerned but still somewhat careful, and then people who are not concerned and oppose masks and other drastic measures. So let me go through the first one. People who are really concerned about COVID. They may have health issues, situations that put them at a higher risk, or they might be close to someone who does. They might be a caregiver. By the way, I probably fit into this category if you look at the elders and Matt, if you just take the four of us. This is probably the category that fits most my mindset. And that's important for you to know because we're all in different places, yet I want you to remember we're unanimous and in agreement about this, what I'm saying. So because of my health, because of bone infections, because of Janet with MS and Lyme disease, I'm 62, I'm overweight, I have high blood pressure, and it's gone up because of this last week trying to prepare all this. I'm at a higher risk. So, I have things that influence how I look at it. I don't think that I'm right. I think there are a variety of ways to look at it, and I've tried to be very open to the other ways. So just to give you that example. In this first category also, people are watching the news and are aware of the local, national, and global effects of the virus. They may only be going out when necessary and with masks and other precautions in place. And they find it difficult to sometimes understand why other people are not taking the virus more seriously. So again, this does not come from the CDC, doesn't come from Southwest Health. This is us putting our heads together and saying, we're the shepherds of the church. We know the people in the church. If we were going to say, what are the mindsets in the church, what would they be? And this was the first one we came up with. Second one, people who are not concerned, but still somewhat careful. And these people, and I think in this area, Jim is probably between a 1 and a 2, one of the other elders. Jim's between this first group and the second group. So this is great. Like when they ask you a survey, circle 1 through 5, and you choose to put the little stars in between. Thank you, Jim. Jim's between 1 and 2, so he goes a little bit to the first group and a little bit to the second. These people may not have health issues that put them at risk. They may not feel the need to wear a mask personally, but don't mind doing so if it makes others feel safe or if they're asked or required to do so. They can see different points of view and understand varying concerns that people may have. So that's kind of the second group that we have as a part of our body here, the second mindset. And then the third mindset, and I think that Don and Matt both identified as being somewhere between 2 and 3, even though I labeled Matt a 4 yesterday. He was being snarky with me, so that, and when we kissed and made up, and now I've probably got some disease. No kiss. But number 3, people who are not concerned and oppose masks and other drastic measures. And these people feel that COVID-19 is a serious flu or a serious sickness, but that we should not shut down the economy and mandate safety precautions that impinge on the rights of people. They believe that we all deal with different levels of risk every day, so how is this any different? And if you're vulnerable, it's your choice to stay home and protect your own health. Third thing, they believe that much of what is mandated or asked has questionable motivations or may be based in fear. So those are the 3 kind of mindsets we've had in the church. We're all over the place as leaders, but we agree to disagree and to shepherd the church and say, Lord, you need to help us. We need discernment. We need wisdom. We need to make your decision in terms of how we navigate through this. So moving forward, we realize that all these views, again, are present in our congregation. And these views are, again, also present among the leadership. I'm probably, again, in that first one. And, the interesting thing in this is that I loved about the health of our church is that none of us are going to try and be so controlling that we ignore each other. We're all able to listen and not be defensive. We're all able to prefer one another and say, look, I trust you and I trust your opinions. And even if I don't agree with them fully, that's okay, and you don't agree with me fully. So that is one of the beautiful things about our church. And again, remember that just because someone has a different view on the issue, it doesn't make them evil, doesn't make them bad, doesn't even make them necessarily wrong, just a different opinion. And we need the effort to agree to disagree and hold the value of unity in Christ as the primary goal that we follow as we follow Jesus. So here's some guidelines for reopening, again, next Sunday, the 17th, 10 o'clock. We need to continue to remember that our state and local authorities have asked that we continue to practice social distancing, that we wear masks, that we wash hands, that we practice safe cleaning protocols. And that's kind of my area. The other churches that are here, we have the experience on Saturday has professional cleaners that come in. When we're done here on Sunday, Rich comes in and he uses one of those diffusers, goes through. We wash nameplates, door handles, everything, clean the bathrooms. And then again, on Sunday afternoon after the Slavic church meets, they have cleaning protocols they follow. So we're doing all of those things. So here's the big one. Regarding masks, we realize that some people can't wear masks for medical reasons. We probably have 7 to 10 people in our church who want to be here, but sometimes feel judged like they're in that third category maybe, and they might be, for not wearing masks when literally it's a respiratory problem. And we know that there are other people who don't wear masks because of philosophical objections. We do not want to be the mask police at Riverside. We just don't. Those of us who are at risk need to realize that there may be people at church on Sunday who are not wearing masks, and therefore we need to figure out how we're going to deal with that if we come, or we need to make our own choice to maybe stay home or do what we feel is appropriate for our own health. I know if at any point in time I feel like I'm at risk here, I will be here to preach, but I may stay in my office and just come in to preach. Then all my bad jokes will have to work their way out in the sermon rather than right before, so you'll have to be patient with me. And then I'll probably leave after I do the message and go out, simply because of my health issues and Janet's. So that would be the next step for me if I feel like I need to protect that. So we all have to make decisions about what we're going to do. And again, if there's one good thing that's come out of all of this, and there's probably several, it's the live stream. I can remember being on one leg in my family room with the cat tower and my cell phone leaning against a peanut butter jar, taping the first message back in April, thinking, oh my goodness, Lord, come quick. And now, they won't let me bring the cat tower in here, no. Now we've been live streaming. And one of the other good pieces of news, the Experience recently raised a large sum of money, over $30,000, and they're going to be putting in lighting here and on the stage and changing a few things to facilitate. We'll have 2 cameras, the live streaming, and we benefit from that. Some people have said I look pasty and washed out, to which I say I am pasty and washed out. So live streaming is one of the good things that we will continue, and hopefully it will continue to be improving. So we want to thank you for your patience, and again, we covet your prayers. We want to be as transparent and honest with you about anything and everything. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact Matt, or Don, or Jim, or me with any of your questions. And we again, just covet your prayers.